This was the scene of turmoil in the capital, Havana, as the climax of revolution was reached. Anyone suspected of sympathy for the Batista regime came in for a rough time.
Bitcoin is freedom, America's freedom. The American Revolution began because we were breaking away from tyrannical rule. We wanted freedom from monarchy in Britain. You fast forward to 2023 and there's a new form of tyranny. And there's the Bitcoin revolution. Bitcoin's helping us break away from the tyrannical rule of central bankers. We now have choice to opt out of their system. It's growing in numbers to the point where they can't control that we are opting out of their system. It's a new kind of revolution. It's not only about money, it's about being able to take back control and ensure your financial freedom and generational wealth.
In the annals of history, Cuba emerges as a land of rebels and fervent spirits, from brave souls who resisted the iron grip of the Castro regime to today's vanguard of hard money trailblazers. Cuba never backs down, and their latest revolution, it's coded, it's decentralized, it's Bitcoin.
So I'm here with Vitalio, who's the other co-founder of the Cuban Bitcoin community. Vitalio was saying an interesting phrase earlier about how Bitcoin could be the salida or the exit.
El cubano cuenta con el peso cubano, que es una moneda que solamente tiene valor dentro de las fronteras cubanas. Es decir, yo salgo ahora hacia otro país y no puedo adquirir ningún bien, ningún servicio con esa moneda. El Bitcoin nos da esa libertad de poder traspasar esa frontera. Sin Bitcoin, nosotros estamos encerrados aquí. Pero ya el Bitcoin, al ser un dinero que es universal, un dinero que no conoce una frontera, es esa salida, ese escape que puede ayudarnos a la familia cubana. Le ayudaría mucho.
If you flip back a few pages, you'll find Cuba's narrative rife with tales of underground resistance against the ironclad reign of Fidel Castro. Fast forward to today and you've got a parallel universe, the rise of digital warriors trading guerrilla tactics for Satoshi's revolution.
So this morning we've come to Mr. Navi's to sell a little bit of Bitcoin for some Cuban pesos to have some cash in hand. However, he's told us that it could take some time because we have to count out a lot of paper money. Yeah, you'd give wads of cash for like really small items. It's such an inconvenience. Such an inconvenience. I guess that's what happens when your currency is hyperinflating.
And that's 1,000. That 1,000 is equal to $5. So this is 20 mil.
So 20 mil, how much is that in dollars?
$100.
$100, and it looks like that?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 300.
This is only $400, and look at all this paper. So it reads the invoice, and I press send. I say, yep, sure.
Yeah, you got it. So fast.
Yeah.
I really love Bitcoin. I really love it. This is something incredible.
$400 is the monthly salary of 3 or 4 professionals.
Like doctor. People in your atomic.
The once mighty peso, now a tragic relic, teetering on the brink, but where traditional institutions falter, the indomitable Cuban spirit seeks new saviors, a way to preserve their energy, wealth, and fruits of their labor over time. Bitcoin.
Bueno, el salario mínimo es 2.500 pesos.
$12. So the minimum salary is $12 US per month. And the average salary is about 4,000 Cuban pesos, which is roughly $23 per month. That is frightening. As my friend Katria explained, the average salary for a Cuban is peanuts. I have literally no idea how Cubans live off this amount of money.
Try to consider this. When the coffee beans for your morning espresso cost more than a Cuban's monthly wage, something's deeply flawed. And the answer is not in a system that's already let them down repeatedly. No, it's in a decentralized uprising.
So my friend here, who doesn't want to reveal her identity, is showing me how to buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer with Telegram groups.
Hey, what's up? Please, bro.
Comprando sats 50 a 500 MLC, vendiendo, comprar.
Yep. Buy. So,
Elige una moneda, CUP.
so Cuban pesos.
Voy al bot.
Okay, so now she's doing the transfer of Cuban pesos.
Escaneo y le doy fiat cent, porque yo envío el dinero.
Yeah.
Y le doy a la orden, califica tu contraparte y a mí ya me avisó. Fuerte,
Yeah.
ya.
So that's how you buy Bitcoin peer-to-peer in Cuba. Telegram groups over Lightning, almost 0 fee, or basically 0 fee.
1% max.
Pretty quick, and you just post it and share it on Telegram groups. So the government doesn't know that they're sending Cuban pesos to each other for the purchase of Satoshis. It's fucking wild. So cool to see.
There was a time when dissent in Cuba meant hushed voices in dimly lit rooms, but now it's open source, open discourse in the bright realm of the Lightning Network and Bitcoin.
You walk into the meetup and there are just people sending people sats, people learning how to use the Telegram group, people generally sort of asking questions, being curious about Bitcoin, and it's men, women, children, elderly people, young people. It's not like the Bitcoin meetups in countries in Europe, for example, where it tends to be a lot of white middle-aged men talking about the fall or the death of fiat currencies. It's a happy vibe, and it's optimistic, hopeful, and just very fun, really.
I'm saving Bitcoin for my own retirement. I'm self-administration of my retirement fund.
Wow. But how old are you?
I'm 24.
And you're saving for your retirement at 24 with Bitcoin?
Yeah. I can do it in Cuban pesos and USD dollar. All that is kind of shitcoin, so I have to use Bitcoin.
Wow.
Para mí no solamente un dinero, no es una representación de valor, es toda una ideología. Significa muchas cosas, ¿entiendes? Es la descentralización, la libertad, de que tú seas dueño de ti mismo y que puedas interactuar en el mundo con una libertad plena.
When you get down to it, getting around the establishment is almost a national pastime in Cuba. But instead of clandestine routes, today's rebels have a digital highway, bypassing banks, trading in Bitcoin, and sculpting their own economic destinies.
I asked the owners why they choose to accept Bitcoin. Why do you accept Bitcoin here?
We started accepting as another way to accept money with the problem that we have in Cuba, the economic problems that we have with a lot of different currency.
You are accepting Bitcoin because you are dealing with a private coin. The government hasn't access to the transactions. You do it, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want with that.
Decidí investigar lo que era y me di cuenta de que yo puedo resguardar mi capital y puse a comprar algunos Bitcoin. Lo que más me encantó de Bitcoin es la libertad que uno tiene con su dinero. Yo puedo ir a donde quiera y tener mi dinero. Entonces ahí dije, bueno, yo voy a orientar mi negocio, voy a tratar de incluir Bitcoin en el negocio.
So I was speaking to my friend here and he talked to me about the law of Cuba. If you're a private organization and you accept crypto, you're on your own. There's no law that prohibits you from accepting crypto.
What does that mean if you're on your own?
That means the government doesn't interfere into it. That's the positive thing.
For example, you are a foreigner and you come to Cuba, and with Bitcoin, you don't need to bring cash. It's a lot safer. It's an opportunity to connect to the world and to have a currency that actually means something to people in any part of the world.
There's a big problem for all the businesses in Cuba. And the problem is, how do you pay to your providers? You can't pay to your providers with CUP or MLC.
So the suppliers you're talking about here are foreign suppliers, presumably in the US or Mexico?
I am orange peeling those suppliers.
From the heart of Havana to the bustling bylanes of Santiago, there is a palpable shift. Marketplaces, coffee shops, and even local panadero. Everyone's feeling the Bitcoin pulse. In many places, Bitcoin remains just another financial instrument. But here in the heart of Cuba, it's a revolution, a manifesto, a defiant roar against a history of tyranny, oppression, hyperinflation, and death.
Para mí Bitcoin es dinero de verdad, dinero duro. El dinero que tenemos nosotros no vale nada. Mis padres tenían un dinero ahorrado en el banco con la intención de comprarse una casa. Yo les dije que vendieran, o sea, que cambiaran una parte de sus pesos cubanos hacia Bitcoin o aunque sea hacia dólar, y no lo hicieron, y al final se ha devaluado tanto la moneda que con todos los ahorros de toda su vida ellos no pudieran comprarse ya nada, probablemente ni una bicicleta, con los ahorros de 20 o 30 años trabajando. ¿Para qué yo voy a ahorrar en un dinero que cada vez pierdo y pierdo más poder?
Remember, the revolutions of yesteryear were shaped by romantics but steered by the brave. In modern-day Cuba, bravery takes the form of sats and Bitcoin wallets. The dream, a Cuba that is unfettered and unchained.
Blew me away how much people are putting into Bitcoin here, how much they're educating themselves, how much they're realizing they need it. And one of the girls we're talking to, she's putting pennies into Bitcoin. She knows that in 10 years time, 20 years time, 30 years time,
Bitcoin will still be there while the Cuban peso might not be. You know, using all these digital tools to find a way to build for her own future. How phenomenal is that? Also, she says the groups are growing. There are more and more people interested in this technology. The other thing is they don't care about bull runs. They don't care about bull runs and bear markets, because when the peso is so bad, you know, Bitcoin can crash from its highs of 69,000 to 4,000, and it's still doing better than the Cuban peso does over time. I've never seen a use case as strong as Cuba for Bitcoin adoption.
From the battles in the Sierra Maestra to the duel of the future of money, Cuba's story is one for the ages, and as Bitcoin lights their path, a new chapter awaits. Here's to the rebels, the dreamers, and the trailblazers. And guys, we know the history of statism is rife with the theft of people's personal property. If you want to protect your generational wealth and make sure that you're doing it the right way, remember, not your keys, not your cheese. The Bitcoin Way is your IT team in the Bitcoin world, and you can schedule a 30-minute call with them using the link below if you need help with wallet and nodes, no KYC purchases, and just in general best practices. They can get you started on your Bitcoin journey. Guys, you don't want to get stuck in statism or Orwell's nightmare. You also don't want to be stuck on the sidelines when Bitcoin does what it does, because the Bitcoin revolution is here and it ain't stopping for anybody. So you got to get on board or get the f*** out of the way. I'll catch you all tomorrow.